Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott Selections here for Monday, January 25th. Before we get into today's play of the day, a quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a loss with the Green Bay Packers -3.5 and -110 on Bet Online in the NFC title game. The game was pretty frustrating to watch, especially the first half. Second half went the way that I kind of thought the whole game would go, as Brady looked, I'd say, pretty underwhelming. In the second half, he did basically nothing through a couple of really awful interceptions. But unfortunately, Green Bay came out extremely flat in the first half, and that was kind of the story. The backbreaker, of course, was the borderline Hail Mary touchdown to Scotty Miller in the final play of the first half. If Green Bay doesn't give that up, kind of similar to the Akeem Nicks Hail Mary play against the Giants from many years ago, then Green Bay probably ends up winning the game. But either way, Packers had their chances. They only scored 6 points off of the 3 interceptions. They also had the Aaron Jones fumble in the first drive of the second half, which set Tampa up with a free touchdown. Really just a sloppy game from Green Bay. And props to Tampa for coming out, punching them in the mouth. The second half, though, Green Bay seemed to finally find its stride, but it was a little bit too late. So either way, ended up picking up a loss there, as we are going to be having another rematch, or another matchup, I should say, between Brady and Mahomes in the playoffs, and Brady making a Super Bowl again, which I feel like is kind of written in, I don't know, every single year. But either way, it happens. I'm not really complaining too much about the pass interference that ended up being called really late. Is what it is. Truth is, I blame LaFleur for trying to kick the field goal in the first place, down 8. Made really no sense, but, it happens, I guess, when you have a young coach who kind of froze in the moment. But either way, I'm going to be looking at the NBA here for Monday's play of the day. I know usually I'm talking about college, but card's pretty underwhelming if you follow the college card. And for that reason, I will be taking my attention to the NBA. And it will be a matchup in the Eastern Conference between the Miami Heat and the Brooklyn Nets. And the play of the day for today's video is going to be on the Miami Heat team total over 113.5 at -125 on Fox Bet. On time of recording of 2:39 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, if you want to find a little bit of a line with less juice, you can find over 114.5 at -105 on BetMGM. However, I'm not going to get too greedy with it. I'll take the 113.5 at -125, and that'll be the play of the day. But a couple reasons why I like the Miami over here, for mostly involving the Nets defense, which has been absolutely abysmal over the last 2 weeks or so. If you look at the Nets have allowed at least 114 points in 8 of their last 9 games. I think that was worse. The Nets have allowed at least 123 points in each of their last 4 games. Ever since Harden got there, I know Harden isn't exactly a great defender by any means. He's not really a good defender at all. The Nets weren't really good defensively before he got there. Now that he did get there, they have looked significantly worse. And this team is just pretty much a lost cause on that side of the ball. But going into the actual numbers here, they ended up having a matchup against the Heat in the last games. This is an immediate rematch. And the Heat in that game scored 124 points, despite only shooting 28.3% from the three-point line, which is about 7% lower than its season average. So if Miami is able to score 124 points in the first meeting, and it couldn't really hit a 3 to save its life, I simply think that Miami should be able to score at least 114 points in this matchup. Miami also ranks 9th in assists per game, so the Nets, with their underwhelming defense, should struggle, especially since Miami has a very selfless nature offensively, where it is able to spread the wealth, get a bunch of shooters, open looks, and potentially capitalize on this defense. Plus, the Nets also rank 5th in pace, and that's the main reason why you have seen these totals in the Nets games go over pretty much every game for the last 3 weeks or so. Is because the Nets play extremely fast. They score a lot of points, and they don't really guard anybody. And I do think that the Heat will partake in that up-tempo style of play, and I do think they'll be able to create some havoc in the pick and roll, especially after Adebayo went for 40-plus points in the last game, which is well above any other total he's had previously. So I think Miami's setting up pretty well here, put up another good offensive performance. I think the Nets should probably allow around 120 points in this game, maybe a little bit less, but 113.5 seems very low to me. And for that reason, until I actually see the Nets play an under anytime soon, or if I see them hold an opponent to less than 115, then maybe I'll stop doing it. But until then, I'll back the Heat here, and I think Spoelstra will come up with a nice game plan for the offense. So the play of the day, once again, here for Monday, January 25th, is going to be the Miami Heat. Team total over 113.5 at -125 on Fox Bet. That's been Scott Selections. Go to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.